Hey guys, so just wanted to provide a quick C-Peptide update. I got uh, I got blood drawn on January 22nd, and I'll put up the results now. Came in at zero point 0.8 nanograms per milliliter. That's my best result so far. And just real quick, in case anybody new's watching or they don't know what C-peptide is, C-peptide is basically a byproduct. When your pancreas produces insulin, it also produces C-peptide. So it's the best test to take if you want to know if you're actually able to produce insulin or if you are producing insulin. Compared to insulin test, that'll detect any injected insulin you have in you, so it's not necessarily a great measurement. Um, Unless you're fasted for a while and you haven't injected insulin or something like that. But um, so my highest result prior to this was 0.7, so it's not a huge difference, but compared to all of last year, it came in. I tested it 3 times last year. It came in at 0.5. So this is this is great for me. I'm really happy about it. The normal goal range is between 1.1 and I mean the test results. I'll put them up again. It says 1.1 and 4.4. Personally, I would have to say 4.4 is really high if you because you have to do this fast. You should do this fasted. And that interval was for people who were fasted for 12 to 16 hours. I would say the normal for a healthy person without any insulin resistance should be in the mid fives, or sorry, mid ones, possibly two. But once it gets up higher than that, that's probably a good sign of insulin resistance and possible type 2 diabetes. I think anything above the 4.4 would definitely be considered at risk for type 2 and pretty major insulin resistance, just because that's a lot of insulin needed to keep your blood sugar at bay for when you're not eating. So, but anyways, for type 1 diabetics without insulin resistance, you should be, I'm guessing, for me specifically, my weight and everything, I probably need to be around 1.5, maybe a little bit lower for my blood sugar to be okay. At point 0.8, I tested my blood sugar right after I got the blood drawn, which was pretty early in the morning, and my blood sugar was like 130. So that's high. I should be in the morning around 80 or so, 80 to 90, I would say. So, that one being 130, I would have needed an additional probably unit of insulin for my pancreas to be able to produce that. That probably would have resulted in a C-peptide of around 1.5. I'm just guessing, but that's probably the case. I'm not really sure. So yeah, so looking back, all of 2025, it was disappointing from a results perspective, but at the same time, that was kind of my biggest year of growth. Having those doubts, coming on YouTube, or at least showing my face on YouTube, I think at the start of the year, and showing the C-peptide results, and then after that, showing lower results for the entire year as I'm on here talking about it. The fear and doubt started coming in big time. But working through that was really helpful. I also admittedly got a little bit lazy, which sucks. Like I don't know why that happens. I'm such a huge believer, and I see the results with meditation, Reiki, and seriously just pure self-love and the impact that has. It is so unbelievably simple that even I don't trust it sometimes, but it really is that simple. Just love yourself and really fall into the heart space, and that's really all that's needed. That will lead to other things. For me, it specifically leads me to addressing fears. If you go in your mind and say, "Oh, I need to handle these fears. Maybe that's possible, but sometimes they're just too big. For me, they were, because I haven't done it my entire life, and every time I try, I feel like I fail, and then I never want to try again. And I've brought it up before, social anxiety, and it's a very unique type of social anxiety for me. It's really weird. So, but seriously, just falling into your heart and doing that consistently gives you the courage to do it. And that was the year of 2025 for me, was kind of working through that in a difficult way. But how I view 2026 is just with a lot more ease. I just did a meditation the other day and had a vision come in of fear being handed to me on a silver platter, constantly, and the fear just kind of transmuting through the silver and into my body, just as love. And fear can always be used as a guide, but if you focus on the fear without the love, it's very difficult. So if you just fall into your heart and let that guide you, it's seriously amazing. So I'm looking forward to continually addressing my fear in the coming year, and am actually really getting excited for it. It's just a different feeling that comes along with it. So like I said, I was a bit lazy with that in 2025. There was a bit of struggle for me. The Egypt trip at the end really actually kind of re-energized me, and I got back into it, and I see it in the results. Not that that's needed, but I felt it before I even got that test. I knew it would be pretty good. So I'm just looking forward to continuing with that. And what else? So the other thing that I want to mention is, I'll bring the results up again. Maybe I'll expand it just to show the time. So the time that I took this was 6:54 in the morning. Most of these C-Peptide results are pretty early in the morning, or when I get the blood drawn. I think I had one maybe closer to noon, but that one wasn't fasted, and I took insulin, I think, and I don't know what it came in at 0.4, and that was a while ago. But the reason I bring up the time of this is because, for me specifically, everybody's different. I have been noticing a much wider difference as far as how much insulin I need in the morning compared to the afternoon and evening. More drastic than my entire life with type 1 diabetes. So there's different, they label it the dawn phenomenon, and there's truth to that, but they also write, and what that is, your cortisol is raised in the morning. That can create some insulin resistance, or at least less insulin sensitivity, and then your liver, you're converting stuff into glucose that gets released into your blood to give you energy in the morning after you've fasted all night long. So it makes sense that your blood sugar go up, specifically for type 1 diabetes, specifically for me, who does not really have any injected insulin in my body come the morning, because the type of insulin I take isn't very fast acting, but it's not very long term either. So even if I take a shot before I go to sleep, which I rarely do, I usually take my shot around dinner time, and that's my last shot, I don't have any injected insulin in my body in the morning. So if my liver is dumping glucose in my body, I don't have, even though I have some insulin production, I don't have enough to match that. So my blood sugar will go up. Now, like I said, I've noticed a huge difference, more so than my entire life with type 1 diabetes, that I'm taking a decent amount of insulin in the morning and so little in the afternoon and evening, when I'm actually eating more in the afternoon and evening, carb-wise. I could just eat, eggs and, meat maybe in the morning, no carbs, and I might have to still take 5 to 10 units possibly, depending on things. I don't really know. If I exercise, maybe only five, if but possibly 10 units. And maybe if I have like coffee with milk in it, then I might need the 10 units because that I respond to that weirdly. But then in the afternoon, I might only need 10 units for the rest of the day. But when I have possibly over 100 carbs, and so there's just a really big difference. And when they explain Don phenomenon, they also say, at least what I've read, they don't fully understand it. And what I see with myself, I can only speak for myself, is I really think it impacts insulin production too, right? I mean, it can't be just an insulin sensitivity thing that changes. For me, it has to be, because the changes are so big that I'm noticing, that I think I have less insulin production in the morning compared to the afternoon and evening. So the reason I bring that up, all my C-peptide tests for the most part are very early in the morning. So the fact that it's at 0.8, I would have to assume it's much higher later in the day. And I made a video about how much I think, like let's say I have a 0.8 C-peptide for all 24 hours throughout the day. To me, that tells me that I'm making 8 total units of insulin throughout the day. And I've shared a video as far as why I come to that conclusion, but it's a guesstimate. But I think that lines up with the amount of insulin that I have to take. But I think I'm producing more insulin in the afternoon. So I think overall, I'm just guessing, I'm likely producing around 15 units of insulin throughout the day, including the afternoon and evening when I'm eating and all that. So I really think the 0.8 is kind of the lowest value throughout the day. But I don't know. Maybe I can schedule a time. The blood lab, the lab I go to closes at 2 p.m. so I don't really have a choice to go after that. Maybe I can, and all my things are walk-ins. I don't even know if I can schedule appointments for the way I do it, but maybe at some point I can try to get in later and see if it's higher. But so that's it. Yeah, that's really all I wanted to share. I don't think I have anything else. So I hope everybody's doing well. All right. See ya. Thanks.